I appreciate that warm welcome and introduction. To be honest with you, we had a small debate about introducing prior to Memorial Day. My take is that if there's ever a day where the qualifications of the speaker are irrelevant, it's today. Anything effective that I say can only go through me. It's not going to come from me. If I do my job well here today, I can be a mirror. I can't be the light. But with that being said, welcome to this important ceremony, and thank you all for attending. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak to you on such an occasion. The purpose of most Memorial Day events is to honor and mourn our fallen service members and to remember the sacrifice that they made in the name of duty, honor, and country. And that is obviously a worthwhile endeavor. However, I'm an educator by trade, and something any teacher will tell you is that remembering is the lowest level of skill. For us to be effective today, we must go past remembering. We must get to appreciation, reflection, and maximizing the gift of the sacrifice from our fallen. For us to go down this path together, we have to begin at the same starting point, and that involves us either reframing or validating our perception of ultimate reality. That's a pretty important topic, so let's start there. First, I think our limited ability to perceive physical objects causes us to incorrectly associate destruction with sorrow. Further analysis would show us what we're really seeing is not destruction, it's transformation. Instead of looking at the burning log as a log that's being destroyed, let's look at it as one that's being transformed into light, heat, and smoke. And like the less visible smoke emanating from that burning log, the spirit of those heroically departed linger with us here today. We should pause to reflect on that. You see, the ultimate reality is that we are not physical beings that have these spiritual moments. Instead, we are spiritual beings that are having a physical moment. In other words, you don't have a soul. You are a soul. You have a body. And when we reframe ultimate reality in that way, it becomes easier to feel the presence of our fallen and to remember them. But as I alluded to earlier, remembering's not going to get us where we need to go today. I see remembering as an essential but insufficient first step. We need to be impacted by what we remember and individually changed by that. Then we need to change others. If I were to more succinctly state our goal for today, I would say that we need to help ourselves and then others increase our awareness, appreciation, and maximization of the gift that comes from the sacrifice. We'll talk about what that gift is and how to maximize it in just a moment, but first we need to talk about changing others. The essential point here is that every action by every individual matters. Too many people don't act because they feel as though their contribution would not be transitory. However, no act is too small. You could be the snowflake that gets the avalanche going. In order to better illustrate that, let's consider salt. Most of us here believe that we are called upon to be salt of the earth. However, a mere state of being is not going to cause widespread change. Just like salt, in order to be effective, we must be used. What we need today is for everyone to get out of their shaker and into what they were intended to modify. When you do that, you'll see that even a small amount goes a long way. Just like a small amount of salt will dominate the food that it modifies without changing the physical appearance. If I'm going to talk about being individually impacted by the act of sacrifice, I must talk about this Eagle Globe and anchor right here. It had a profound impact on me. Although the memory of its original owner becomes fuzzier with the passage of time, it belonged to a Marine who made the ultimate sacrifice in the Al-Anbar province of Iraq in August of 2004. I've kept this symbol since that time to serve as a reminder of his sacrifice and subsequently my obligation to continue the legacy of this exceptional organization. Since that time, many people have held this symbol in an attempt to unite. I would like to add to that total today by passing it around amongst all of us. If you get the opportunity and feel so inclined, please hold this symbol for a moment and think about what this means. Think about the incredible sacrifice that it took to get the symbol from the original owner into your hands. Think of the opportunities that you have today as a result and what you are going to do with those opportunities. Perhaps you will be reminded why you're here today. Physically, this is a very small object, but symbolically, it represents so much more. All I ask is whoever gets this at the end, please track down either my wife or me so you can return it. I'm gonna hand this out. The original owner of that Eagle Globe and Anchor belongs to the less than 1% of Americans who have served in combat. Most who serve return home and live full and productive lives, while tragically some are cut short. In the end, both can teach us the same lesson. The quality of one's life is not determined by the number of years in the life. It is determined by the amount of life in the years. In preparation for this event, I did a little bit of research, and I think my math is right. Somebody check me on this. But I believe less than 0.5% of Americans are currently serving in the active and reserve components of every branch combined. About 7.3% of Americans have served in the military at some point in their life and thus earned the title of veteran. However, the approximately 1.1 million Americans killed in action since the Civil War represent far less than 1% of all Americans during that time. In today's political discourse, the term one percenter is often used derisively. But today I use that term to represent those that for love of country accepted death. Those to whom we honor today. The legacy of our one percenters is the memory of a great name and the inheritance of a great example. These one percenters have taught us many valuable lessons and given us many valuable gifts. These are the gifts that we need to increase our awareness, appreciation, and maximization of. They include a sense of duty, devotion, commitment, love, honor, and freedom. Each one of those gifts deserves significant attention. However, within the constraints of today, I only have time to elaborate on one gift. So what I had to do is pick a gift that I believe, if you internalize this, if you reflect on this gift, your life can change beginning today. And that is the gift of freedom. Simply put, we are who we are because of our freedoms. Now watch this. We live lives in which who we are is essentially an expression of our dominant thoughts. We have the freedom to choose happiness and purpose over anger and a directionless, meaningless existence. Now, when I talk about the freedom to choose happiness and purpose, that occurs within two different frameworks. The first framework is a big picture, a long-term perspective. Examples of those type of freedoms include your freedom to choose your spouse, your freedom to choose your career. Now, something I tell my Marines all the time is life is really simple. Not easy, but it's simple. If you want long-term happiness, there are two questions you absolutely have to get right. What you do and who you do it with. It's important to reflect today that both of those essential questions are addressed through an initial act of freedom. The second context in which our freedom to choose happiness and purpose is more of a short-term perspective. This type of freedom manifests itself in the opportunities we have to make multiple decisions within any given moment. For example, right now, right here, right now, in this very moment, every single one of you here, including me, has the freedom to choose to let go of something that is causing us pain. Much like a constrictor snake that finds itself wrapped around the blade of a saw, most of us want to squeeze down tighter on that pain, to fight harder. And that only causes us further pain and ultimate destruction. What we and the snake should do is simply choose to let go and continue on our path. In order to maybe better illustrate what I mean by short-term freedom, I'm going to say something that I'm 100% sure my beautiful wife over there, and I'm 99.9% sure both of my precious kids will agree 100% with. Out of every single person that's here, every single one of you can dance better than I can. I am by far the worst dancer, not only here, but in the entire region. However, there is one thing I do know about dancing. When you dance, your goal is not to get from one spot on the floor to another. It's to enjoy each step along the way. And that is the type of short-term freedom I'm talking about. The type of freedom to enjoy each step in this dance of life. We only have these freedoms because of those 1%ers who are not here with us physically today, yet their spirit lingers like the smoke from that burning log. We owe it to our fallen 1%ers to maximize that gift so that their sacrifice is not in vain. There are people today that believe we live in a time without heroes. I simply think those people are just flat out wrong. They don't know where to look. If you are ever in need of finding a hero, what I recommend is going to the cemeteries that house the physical remains of our 1%ers. Those 1%ers lived their lives as candles. Candles that illuminated the path for us to move forward. Candles that in the act of lighting others became extinguished themselves. We should pause today to reflect that the light and warmth that emanates from us originated through an act of sacrifice by them. Let us be absolutely tenacious in our passionate pursuit of this lofty goal to increase our awareness, appreciation, and maximization of the gift of freedom that comes from the act of sacrifice from our fallen. Tenacity is an unbelievable trait. Research shows that tenacity is the most common trait among successful people. What that means is if you take a subgroup of successful people from any population, there are successful business leaders here. There are certainly successful politicians here. I'm not sure if they're successful athletes, but it's Cumberland County, so I'm willing to bet there are. Or successful people in a relationship. What you will find is those individuals have tenacity more than any other trait. Not size, strength, speed, intelligence, or wealth. It is tenacity. What makes tenacity an awesome trait is the fact that we simply choose it. Every one of us here today has the tenacity and freedom to tenaciously pursue your freedoms. The freedom comes from the gift of sacrifice. The tenacity must come from within. In the confrontation between the stream and the rock, it is the stream that always wins. Not through any one moment of instantaneous competitive strength, but rather through a cumulative tenacity. Let us flow like the stream in pursuit of that lofty goal. To those who have fought the fight, the glory and the honor is theirs. The duty and the obligation is ours. God bless you all and each of your families. God bless the troops, and may God bless America. Thank you.